This is the start of the restoration project on this Grundig. Grundig is one of the brands that I still have not videoed restoration of. I've done a couple, but this was before I started the YouTube channel. And I've been looking forward to this one for some time until I got a little surprise on opening it up, but we'll come to that in a minute. This guy is from the era 56, I think it was, when they started getting very concerned about the hi-fi sound. You know, they wanted more quality sound coming from their radios, so you got things like this coming out. Hi-fi Zauberklang, I think that's sort of magic sound or room sound or something like that. But what it does have is a multiple set of speakers. You can see through the dirt there's the main bass speaker, full range bass. There's another gap over there, which we'll see in a minute. And then on both sides, there are more speaker ports. Now, I like this one because A, it's in pretty good shape physically, the body is. And I like the color. And also it comes with the golden trim all around here in actual metal. It's not the stick-on stuff. So this will be quite interesting to clean up and get it all nice and shiny. And as you can see, here you have all these controls that help you shape your tone. It's pretty neat. It's basically a graphic equalizer, 5-band graphic equalizer, as opposed to just having bass and treble. You've got a 5-band graphic equalizer, and it actually has, I don't know if you can see that, a little red band in the back there that actually shows you the curve of your settings. Pretty neat. Now, as usual, there's your off switch. TB, I believe, is well, one of them, TBTA. One of them is pickup, one of them is tape recorder. FA, I believe, is ferrite antenna, the external antenna. Then you've got long wave, medium wave, short wave, and FM as usual. And again, as usual, FM only goes up to, what is it, from 87 to 100 megahertz, which is pretty normal for this era. As far as controls are concerned, you've got this one and that one. One of them is for FM, and the other one is for the AM bands. Sounds a bit funny up there, so I think there's something wrong with the cord. There is a magic eye over here. There is the ferrite antenna rotation angle, which you can adjust. As you can see there, we'll see inside if it's connected. And this is your volume control. So far so good. Let's turn around and see what we've got inside. When I turn the FM dial cord, it's turning. You can see that turning over there. Good, so that one's in place. There's a lot of dust, a lot of dirt, and a fair amount of rust on some of these. The actual chassis itself is not that rusted because it's got this gold finish on it, anodized or whatever it was. It seems to have protected it quite well, but anything else that's metal is fairly rusted, and that'll have to be cleaned up properly. So, yeah, quite a challenge on the inside here with the transformer. But fortunately, when it comes to transformer, there is no real mystery there. What we need, according to these schematics, and they're very, very similar, is you need, 220 or 240 in my case, and you need about 220 out. This will give you about 270 volts DC operating voltage, and you need your 6.3 volts for your heaters. So all the other wiring, all the other taps and mains levels are just not important here. So I don't need to worry about that really. I just need to get 200 and something volts AC to it through an isolation system, so through basically a transformer that'll give me that, and also give me the heater voltage. and it has to give it to me at enough power that it doesn't overheat the transformer. Now, this transformer looks fairly beefy, but they weren't very efficient in those days anyway, and I read on the schematic this thing takes about 57 watts. So 57 watts at you know, at 200 and something volts is not that much current. It's not that much power either. You know, it's 57 sort of VA. For a transformer like this, not a very big transformer. So what do I have for that? Let's have a look. I've actually got two alternatives, two options. This one here actually has the multiple mains inputs. You can choose which one you want as your input. Okay. It's obviously set at the moment through this plug to 240 volts. This is the common in. And then the output, what I have here is the 6 volt output, which I've tested. This is 6 volts, and then the 220 or so is this one over here. I haven't actually tested the others to see what I get. I'm going to test that. Maybe I can actually change the output voltage to the one that gives me the correct DC voltage. So that's one option, and it's fairly beefy. This one's fairly big. It's in terms of the size of iron, I would say it's comparable to that one over there. So maybe, just maybe, this one will be a good match. This one here is actually less iron, as you can see, and this obviously has to do with the saturation current, the point at which the cores will saturate. The more iron you get, the more current it will allow through before it saturates, and you don't want it to saturate. So this one also has a 220 volt input, or 240, and the output is 200 volts over there, the red wires, and there's 6.3 volts over there on the yellow wires. There doesn't seem to be any option for different line voltages, so this one's more specific. So one of these two definitely should work. Now, whether I actually fit them into this radio or not, I'm not sure. I may actually look for a specific transformer for this radio and actually order it and put it in there, but it doesn't stop me going ahead and using one of these temporarily. So that's probably what I will do. Also, when I do that, I'll have to keep an eye open whether I use one or the other. Not sure yet. I'll have to keep an eye open for heating, make sure these things aren't overheating, because I don't know exactly what ratings these are either. Okay, so that's the insides. There's one more thing I want to look at, and that is the speaker systems. So speaker-wise, this thing seems to have quite a complement of outputs. You've got your main speaker over here. That's sort of the main full-range speaker. And then you have, on both sides, you've got one of these, secondary. This will be mid-range to high. And that would create a surround sound effect. And here's the other one on the left. That's another one like that. Strangely enough, not exactly the same. The cone is slightly different. And they seem to be original. They don't seem to have been removed from here. So I think they were built like this. And then you've got a electrostatic tweeter over here as well. So this will be for the very high frequencies. So I think speaker-wise, and they look in pretty good condition, a bit of rust on the back there, but that's not a problem. So that seems promising. Let's have a look at the inside. Well, the underside I should have said. Now, what I notice here is that the sections of the radio are fairly well isolated from each other with parts of the metal chassis. Here's all the RF stuff in there. And it all seems to be pretty neat. Pretty good condition. Obviously capacitors are gone, but there doesn't seem to have been any messing around inside the radio. Some really old capacitors over here. Never seen those before. That one there, the big one. So it looks interesting, and it looks interesting enough for me to go ahead and try and restore it. Even though it does have the power transformer problem, which is usually a fairly major problem, isn't it? But I think this one deserves it. It's a great radio. There's a little bit of work to be done. Makes a challenge all the better. And we'll see. Let's take it from there and see how far we get on this one. Right, so I'm going to get it out of the chassis and put it on the assembly that I used to do the restorations on, and take it from there. Get back to you soon. Bye for now.